camera. Oh,
All right, we'll give just a couple of minutes to see if anybody is going to join through Google+. Some people may be watching through the website.
Can we watch on our phones?
If you have joined us and you've gotten a chance to see us, we're happy that you've joined us, and thank you for spending time with us today. I'll do kind of an official introduction here in just a minute. We're gonna give a couple more minutes to see if anybody will join.
do we have to wait for something?
It says 0 viewers so far.
Wait, but do we have to wait?
Yeah, they can.
How many people do you usually get?
Now what do we do?
Per year.
Usually people watch it like after it's archived, because 11:30 is a weird time to watch something. But I have usually.
I don't want it to. Yeah, I know.
Do we have to wait for someone?
Alright, you got this.
All right, everyone. We're going to go ahead and get started.
Do I make you nervous?
So again, thank you for joining me and my students as we do the 2016 Zinecast. For those of you that have watched this Zinecast before, this is the 4th iteration of it. It's always really exciting to do this. My students are usually a little uneasy about the whole process, but they've come up with some really incredible work this year. So we've got about 6 or 7 students that are going to actually talk about what they created this year. And what they were trying to drive towards. To give you some background, this year we tied our zine creation with rhetoric and talking about things like logos, pathos, ethos, and being able to do argumentation in kind of an authentic way. And part of that is also learning a little bit more about audience. So we get started in just a minute with the students. I'll share on the screen with you all what they created. It'll be a digital virtual version, and they'll be able to talk through what it is that they created as we guide through it. So hang tight. I'm going to work around so I can get us prepared to move forward. But again, thank you for joining us. All right. Let's give a big hello to everybody. Right. So yeah, a little clap action, like yeah.
TK16.
So uneasy.
I don't know how to look at the camera.
Look at it.
I don't want to be.
I'm not looking at
the
it.
camera. I like legitimately like look at this dot.
Me neither.
Stare.
I can't see the camera.
So we're going to go ahead and go to our screencast.
Tristan, can you please move?
Actually, before we actually get to the screencast,
There's Nicole.
does anybody want to introduce themselves real fast, just to say who you are? You don't have to put a last name or anything, just to go around. So why don't we start over on this side?
Okay, I'm Mikey Dixon.
I'm Fiona Jones.
I'm Brian Valencia.
I'm Alexis Torres.
I'm Nicole Stringer.
I'm Isabella Polanco.
Tristan Barrios. He's all fingers there. Yeah. All right, so here we go. Tristan, you want to go first? You okay? We'll go ahead and launching us. Launch us off. All right. So let's go ahead and here. All right, so you should be seeing our collection of zines right here. Here is our first one that we're going to be taking a look at together. This.
You could be so annoying.
All right, so you should be seeing Tristan's opening page. So Tristan, tell us a little bit about what your topic is and what you're trying to argue.
All right, so my topic was a certain car made by Toyota in the 80s. It's called the Terreno 8086. Kind of have a little bit of an obsession with this car, and what I was trying to go for was more of like I tried to make it like as my zine. I tried to make it like I tried to just try to put my voice into it as much as I could to just make it flow, and that's why the little paragraph right there is a little bit convoluted. That's because that's just how my mind works a lot of the time.
I like a little disclaimer about I own none of the images.
Well, yeah.
Good job trying not to get sued.
Yeah, I'm broke. Okay. Yeah.
As well as work in progress.
Well, I forgot to take that off, to be honest. But yeah, I just tried to. The audience I was going for was people who just share the same passion for cars like that, older cars, and yeah, that's basically it.
So how would you define your rhetorical strategy? Because it sounds like you might be going after, so pathos, ethos, logos.
Well, I put a lot of information into it, so I'm trying to go for the logos and a little bit of pathos as well.
Okay, well, let's check out some of your other pages. Oh, go ahead, finish
Yeah, just a
explaining.
little bit of pathos because I tried to give my opinion on it as well.
Okay, so in your second page here, once we kind of get past the cover, you're giving more information. Anything you would point out about these pages?
This page, I was having a hard time figuring out the layout for the zine because I wanted to make like a full kind of zine thing. That's why I used the PowerPoint rather than just like scanning it and putting it on a piece of paper. So because what I was gonna do, I was just gonna print out the slides themselves and then fold them over and make that into a little magazine. But yeah, I just had a hard time figuring out what kind of layout I wanted for this. So just trying to go for a minimalist thing.
Okay, so anything that you want to say about this page?
That second logo right there, I had a hard time figuring out that if you're reading the top paragraph, I was having a hard time figuring out that that was actually the Vista store, and it got renamed to the Net store. I don't know why that happened, but yeah.
All right, and what is up with this whole Black Limited thing?
Oh yeah, this is the if you read the previous page, that was the send-off model in 1987 when they stopped manufacturing the 11 nanometer in it. Yeah, they just did that for like a special edition, so that yeah, it was. See, the only difference, there's no mechanical difference between the two. It's just the color scheme, just orange and black and gold. And I really like the way that Black Limited is placed on the door right there, along with the ceramic symbol. That's my favorite parts about it. And one of the main reasons why I like the car so much is because it's in one of my top favorite anime series of all time. It's Initial D. Yeah, you can look it up if you want, but it's one of my favorites.
All right, and this is your last page.
Yeah, and drifting explains it right there. It's where you induce oversteer which is just sliding your car like around corners and everything. It's pretty dangerous, but it's really cool to watch. It's really
Yeah, well, it can't be fun if it's not dangerous, right?
well, yeah. And that's what the anime is actually all about. It's all about drifting.
Okay. So, any questions from your peers, from the audience about the car, the zine, anything like that? Yes, ma'am.
When did your love of cars begin?
A long time ago, actually, probably when I was really young. I moved around a lot when I was young, and one of my earliest memories was my dad's. He had a Mark III Golf GTI, bright yellow. It was great. It was one of his favorite cars. But that's what I remember most clearly. I can remember just him working on the car, and I would just love that car. I just loved the way it looked, just the way it's foxy. I don't know. It's more of like a nostalgia feeling for me. I like cars that give me sort of nostalgia feeling.
All right. Good job. Thank you. Bravo. I do want to encourage anybody watching, especially if you're connected to the Google Hangout version of the broadcast, to ask questions. If you have any questions, students will be glad to answer them as well as we go through all of these. If you're watching from YouTube or if you're watching from my website, then I know you can't necessarily chat, but if you know my email address, feel free to send questions and we'll check those a little bit too. All right, so let's go to another zine. So anybody want to go next? And
I'll go now.
all right, cool.
Just go down the line.
Yeah.
We can do that. Easy enough.
Is that old last week?
We'll see.
This is
Right. Now, I will go ahead and apologize ahead of time while I had intentions of flipping everything back the correct way. I just ran out of time to do that. So everybody will see this sideways, but we'll let you go ahead and start describing your cover and what you tried to do. So tell us a little bit about your topic and what you're arguing.
My topic is on a pairing in a show called The Vampire Diaries between Stefan Salvatore and Elena Gilbert, and they were together for about 7 seasons of the show, but it's still going on now. But yeah, and the cover, it's just some quotes that they've said to each other or other characters in the show have said about them and about their like undying love for each other.
Okay. So we'll go ahead and scroll kind of into the next page.
So in the zine, I go like through my favorite episodes of them together and like what happened. So like the first episode, they meet for the first time and they introduce each other and they just get to know each other that episode.
So as you're kind of going through this and you're looking at these characters together, what do you think you're doing rhetorically? How do you think you're trying to argue for awareness for their relationship or love for the show? Or,
Well, I'm using pathos because it's like emotionally like love and like emotions. And the argument really is that I just think they're like the best couple of the entire show. Because like there's other couples too, but I don't like them as much as I like Stefan and Elena, and there's other people that also feel that way. So it's just a way to get people to feel that way and also for people who share the same passion for them to view the.
So I think you've got a question from one of your peers. Go ahead.
Yeah. Didn't she quit the show?
Yes.
Nice
And
idea.
how does that make you feel?
Well, supposedly she's supposed to come back for the finale of the show, which they're having a season 8 for sure. It hasn't been, yes, it's been confirmed for season 8, just not season 9. But yeah, she left in season 6 after episode 22. She didn't want to be a part of it anymore. But still, it was 6 seasons, 6 years worth of them. Well, they weren't together for the whole time, but they were for most of it. And this next page that you can see is, it's really like the episode name is The Turning Point, and it kind of is a turning point in their relationship because they were arguing at the moment, and then Stefan was going to leave town because he thought he was too dangerous for her. And then she told him that she knows what she wants and that she wants him. And then she was like, Stefan, I love you. And yeah. And then also in this episode, it was the first time he revealed his vampire face to her, and she touched the wrinkles and the veins. And it's one of the actors, Paul Wesley, the guy who plays Stefan. It was one of his favorite moments of the entire show. This episode is I just love it because the way that on Damon, which is Stefan's brother, he says that if they go into that house where Elena was kidnapped in the house, that he said that if they go in the house, they may not come back out. And then he said, all right, then I won't come out. I can't think of a better reason to die, as in like saving her. That he couldn't think of a better reason to die, but to die from saving her. And then they did save her, and they didn't die. This episode this is my favorite episode of them in the whole show. Just because the guy who's standing next to Stefan on the right, he is the oldest vampire of all time. He was the first one ever. And he compels, which is like, is like, he looks into his eyes and, yeah, he like puts him in a trance and he has to listen to him. Like he doesn't have a choice but to do what he says. and he told them that he wanted him to feed on Elena, but they were like kind of together at the moment, and he didn't want to do that. So what he would do is, for fighting the compulsion, he started to like stab himself because vampires heal quickly. So he just started to distract himself so he wouldn't be thinking about the blood. And then Klaus says, "Now this is fascinating. I've never seen this before. The only thing stronger than your craving for blood is your love for this one girl." And I just love that quote. Yeah. Okay, season 3, episode 22. So at this time, it was kind of weird between Stefan and Elena because Elena had kissed Damon's brother. I mean, Stefan's brother, Damon.
I mean,
Don't even bring that up. Don't even bring that up.
Elena.
It was like, yeah, the brother swap thing, and then like she didn't know what she wanted, and then at the end of this season, as a human, she. Yeah, so Damon was on one side of the town and Stefan was on the other side of the town. But she had to choose one of them because they had a chance of dying because of something that happened with the originals, which is like Klaus, because they're all connected in a way with bloodlines. So she had to choose one to go say goodbye to, and she was going back to Stefan. So she chose Stefan. And before that, Stefan had kissed her and said, "That's just in case there is no later." And there really was no later because she had a car accident on the bridge and fell into the river, and then she died. But she died with vampire blood in her system, so she came back as a vampire. So season 4, episode 19. Elena's emotions were off. That means that she didn't care about anything. But one thing she really did love was dancing with Stefan. And Stefan was never that dancey type of guy, so he would always dance for her. And then, so to help her remember what she felt, he took her out to dance because it was prom night. And so they went to this dance, and then he's like, "Does your heart really refuse to remember?" Then a couple seconds passed, and she was like, "What heart?" So, yeah, that wasn't that good. Season 5, episode 4. Okay, at this time, she was with Damon, Stefan's brother, which I do not like them together, but, you know, some people do. Anyway, but you can also see that she still had feelings for Stefan, as you can see in the picture where she was about to kiss him. So yeah, this is when Stefan's memory was wiped because he was he had gone through like a PTSD kind of thing. So his memory was wiped, and Elena takes him to where they first met, which is that picture right there, that's where they collided for the first time, and that's where they met in season 1. And yeah, but he didn't remember anything. Okay, this was the last episode for her. This is when she decided to leave the show. She was put into a coma, so just in case she ever wanted to come back, she could just wake up. And yeah, so she was put into a coma, and she says to him to thank you for bumping into me that day in the hallway, that she never thought she would ever be happy again, but then she met him. And then she said, "You changed everything for me. You quite literally saved my life." And then she said, "I love you so much." And then she goes, "I'll see you soon." And then he says, "I'll see you, Elena." So that also leads you to like, maybe they'll be back together. Yeah. And this is just like a thing to see, because I have a Vine account for Stefan mainly, but I also post Stefan and Elena Vines, and it's like Vine edits of them with like music and like their voices. And yeah, it's just where I post my Vines.
So if you scan that QR code for anybody listening, it'll take you to a series of Vines, so you can check out the time that's on it. So
Yeah.
very cool.
And my intended audience is really Delano fans who really love them together, or also Delano fans that need to open their eyes and see the best skip. No, there's some in here,
that
yes.
doesn't watch the show that is now intrigued to watch the show.
Been watching the show.
Isabella, I'm still on season 3.
I know.
Oh, did you cover your earbuds? Yeah, probably.
I'm about to cry.
I'm just like, no.
All right. So now we're going to move on to.
Oh God.
Oh,
Oh, Oh no.
So, so yeah, just like with the others, just give us a lowdown of what you're trying to argue for in this.
Okay, well, obviously, it's my zine topic is a very serious topic, and it focuses mainly on rape culture, and rape has always been a big deal. Like, but recently, it's been big. For example, if any of you guys know the Kesha situation going on with her being raped by her manager, and I've always felt passionate about this subject because it's sickening how I can like name off the back so much people I know who have been raped and sexually assaulted, friends, parents, and it's like this generation, I see so much people making jokes about it, and they say they see a girl, they're like, oh, if she's wearing that, she's asking for it. If she does this with me, she's asking for it. It's not rape if she was drunk, and it's mostly boys. I'm not saying all boys say that, but mostly boys say that, and it really gets me fired up because it's like they make rape seem as a joke and that it's okay. And as it continues, there's so much social media on it saying that she's asking for it, it was her fault. And it's never the victim's fault, so I believe. And also, mostly it's girls that are the victims, but guys are, yeah, can be raped too. So I didn't know exactly how I wanted to approach it, but one night I just started thinking of like poems or lyrics, and I just wrote them down. And do I have to read it? Like,
No, you don't have to read it. People can read it on their own. But
Alright.
if there's anything you want to say particularly about this, and I'll go ahead and ask you the question too. What kind of rhetorical strategy do you feel like you were using to get your point across?
I was using pathos because it is an emotional subject, and I wanted people to. I was gonna throw in statistics, but I wanted to mainly focus on evoking emotion out of people and making people even open their eyes, or if anybody who was ever sexually assaulted, like my audience is like to everybody. Really, there's no really specific.
So you would
person.
want everybody to see something like this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like mainly my friends, because I know certain friends who've been through certain stuff and they've asked for a copy of it, and it's made them like really happy. Like they just get happy reading it. They're like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna frame this and stuff. So that's really what I was doing it for, certain friends like that.
So
But
it's
it's
had a
mostly
really.
like-
So what kind of impact would you say that it's had on your friends?
A positive impact. Like they just know that. I mean, I don't know. It's not like I could really put myself in their shoes and say I know what you're going through, but I just made this for them because it makes them, I don't know, feel better, I guess. But it helps them to what they went through.
Yeah, great. And a lot of these words that are on here are yours, right?
Yes.
Okay, great. So anything you want to say about these pages, or I'll move on to the next one.
This poem I just made for like a perspective of female or male that has been sexually assaulted, and the picture that says "My clothes do not determine my consent" is very big because the first thing people love to ask is, okay, but what were you wearing? Like clothes like make a difference. And I hear a lot of comments like that in school and whatnot. So I like that quote because clothes do not mean that you're asking for sex or anything like that. Like, I feel like people shouldn't need to change their clothing for people not to take advantage of them. So I use that picture because I like that quote a lot.
Okay, so I've moved to your next page. Anything you want to say about these pages?
I looked up like statistics on rape, and I found that there was this scandal. I forgot how long it was, but it was talking about how a New York Times article said that the girl dressed older than her age, and I believe she was only a minor, but the guy thought she was older than that. So again, with the clothes thing, that I just found it really shocking that they put that, like people actually said, oh, well, she dressed older than her age, she looked older, she didn't seem 15 or however old she was. And it just gets me like thinking that, wow, the society really believes that if a girl is dressing older than her age, a guy or anybody can take advantage of her. So that's really what I was focusing on. Yeah.
All right, and this is kind of your last page. So what would you want to say here?
This one focuses on the Kesha situation because I was I didn't know what it was until like I looked up the hashtag. And for anybody who doesn't know it, she's dealing with trying to get out of her contract with her manager because he raped her and emotionally abused her for several years. And she finally came out on it, but the judge in the courtroom denied her freedom and said that she still had to work with him, had to make 6 more albums, I think, with him before she can get out of it. So there was like hashtag Sony supports rape. It was like really big. And she was seen crying in the courtroom. And yeah, so this poem was like focused on her. And the picture shows that like she's trapped by Sony on her mouth.
Some realities of the music industry right there too.
Yeah.
When it can be like, I'm gonna, if any of my friends or family or whatever are watching the cast right now, I'm gonna watch it. They are too. So I will take a minute and reveal to my students, I love me some Kesha. I will have to admit that I think she's an absolute genius and she knows exactly what she's doing when she writes the songs that she does.
Amen, Mr. Jones.
And I hope she gets out of it. You know, I hope she gets to make music on her terms. I would love to see that happen. Well, thank you for sharing. Any questions?
Please don't.
I mean, I know it's a dark topic, it's a serious topic, but
Wait,
It just happens.
what, Jerry?
It shouldn't. People are so cool.
we don't talk about it a lot. But the goal's kind of like teetering towards this. But yeah, the statistics are pretty gross. I mean, the amount of, especially young women who have had an experience is overwhelming. It certainly should not be that way. But at the same time, there are boys being taken advantage of too. And of course, they don't want to talk about it either.
Yeah.
It's bad either way.
And half the
Can we
cases that are reported, or most of the cases, a lot of the cases that are reported aren't reported by the person who's being abused in the first place. They're reported because somebody found out about it. So I find that kind of sad.
Well, Nicole, thank you for sharing.
No
All
problem.
right. Sorry, I didn't want to, I saw your hand go up at the last second.
No, I just wanted to clap.
Okay, good. All right, clapping it is. All right, so I'm not gonna lie, I just love this one because I think it's so relatable to the experience you all have every single day in the hallways of our high school. So thank you for being willing to do it. So before we kind of go through it, obviously it's about annoying things people do in the hallway. So that's your topic. Do you tell us a little bit about the strategy you're trying to use when you're talking about issues in the hallway?
So I was thinking about pathos because I was trying to be funny and just make fun of everything that people do in the hallway. So I was trying to get that emotion on.
Okay. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at your first couple of pages. Tell us about these.
So I always put the angry little person because that's like, you just see this people's annoyed face. Like, even when I was walking to this classroom, there's a group of people in the hallway and they're just standing there. And there's like a little spot where we could go through. And this one girl and I were just like, oh, who should go first? And we were just standing there for like a while because they're just in the middle of the hallway.
So number 2 right there, you got people that are walking against traffic, especially in the staircase. What is that about?
Okay, so when I'm walking up the stairs for first period, I'm just walking around the school and there's people sitting in the staircase, or like they'll be walking in the opposite side. Like they won't be walking on the right side, like in the untold rule. Well, they're just walking in the left side, no, the right side, I mean, and they're walking against you and you're trying to get through and there's already people sitting in the staircase, so it just makes it harder.
Absolutely. So I love the, why must you do this? All right, so just want to let you know, number 3 has always been a thing in high school. When couples make out in the hallway, get a reason indeed.
Honestly.
Yo, dog.
Yes, I know. One guy rides my
Comment on either one of your pages here.
So number 3 is the third floor. I'm mostly talking about the third floor because when I'm walking up to my classroom, there's always a couple making out right in front of my classroom, and I'm just like,
Sorry about that.
But I'm trying to get to my class, and they're like, I haven't seen you in 5 minutes. And I'm just like, okay, let me just get through.
Life is over without you.
And I made it in like a list because I got this like idea from like BuzzFeed where they just have pictures and then they list out what's annoying about it.
Yep. Absolutely. So when I head scroll down to your next couple here, we've got when people step on the back of your shoe and don't say sorry. People hit you with your backpack.
That irritates
Yeah. So when I'm walking from lunch, sometimes my friends are like being funny and then they step on the back of my shoe and I'm like, oh my gosh. So I have to step in the side of the hallway and cause traffic and I'm just like,
Or just get ready for everybody.
Because you're cute.
Yeah, stop. It's like.
It's a nice cleaner at the end of the
Yeah.
Please don't be that
That little tiny smile.
Yeah, so I made the person be happy again instead of being like he was angry in the whole zine and now he's happy. So this is when my zine is intended for hallway use. So you could just go move people and then just hold it up while you're walking around in the hallway and eventually maybe they'll move.
All right. Maybe a little passive aggressive, but I like it. It's good. Yep, good job. Can anybody in the classroom relate to these situations?
Yeah.
I hate it. I
Yeah,
hate walking fast. I'm not sorry.
Me and Troy always make out in the hallways. It really makes people mad.
All right. So,
I run when we're
this
doing
next
that.
one takes a
I like
different
to make out
turn,
with
so we're
Coach
going
McDavid.
away from. We're rerouting. We're going away from. We just went from a very serious topic to a very lighthearted one to something that I don't know. I might be speaking out of turn, but it seemed like you had a lot of fun, kind of creating this and going through it. So I'll let you kind of talk about what you did, what topic you're kind of arguing about with your zine. You can't read it very well. It says the Rat Yearbook. Go ahead, brother. What we got?
So basically, I just took a bunch of rap albums over from the 80s to today. So I guess it's during the last 30 years. And so I kind of just took it. I started with an NWA album because that's kind of what set everything off. Because before that, there wouldn't used to be rap. Before, people would take funk and take that into rap. And so eventually it turned into something else where the 90s came around and funk was still used around then, but like it was, what would you say? Sampled in the background of music.
Right. Absolutely. So anything particularly you want to point out about like the 90s here before we kind of move on to your next page? I see that you're highlighting Tupac and Biggie.
I mean, not really. I mean, they both years, like both times, they both had the same message, sort of. So I don't have much to say about that.
All right, let's move on to your next page.
When the 2000s came around, that kind of sparked a whole nother array of talent because more rappers started coming around and from various places too. Before, like throwing it back to the 90s, it used to be the West Coast East Coast thing, where people really pretty much only knew rappers from there. And around this time, rappers from all over the place started coming around. Eminem came from Detroit, T.I. came from Atlanta, the whole Young Money group, they came from various places. And so, yeah, that's what like started sparking up more talent in the industry.
Okay. Before we move on to your other ones, the rhetorical strategy. What do you think you were using in most of this theme to kind of get your point across?
I think I was using more pathos because if you actually read it and took the time to maybe pick an album, like, oh, okay, I'll listen to it. and you get into the music, you kind of like get like an emotional feel from listening to it, and you maybe be able to relate.
Yep. And I would point out too that you've got a nice blend of logos in there too, because you're giving facts about these albums, the impact that they had too. So I agree. I think you got both going on. You got a couple more pages, so tell us a little bit about these last couple of pages.
Like I said, the 2000s sparked a whole new array of talent, and this kind of takes like the past few years from like then and to present day, where it shows like all the people that came up recently. And so yeah.
All right, and then your back page. This is a little big, so I'll keep it here for right now, and then I'll scroll down. So what are you trying to do on this back page?
I'm basically trying to say that if you like what I had to say in this, you could like, if you're not interested in any of the albums that I put out on the book itself, you could check some of these out, or like see if you're interested and maybe decide to like get more into this genre of music.
So your audience, like who would you hand this to?
I'd hand this to people who haven't heard of this genre, or just friends, because I know a lot of people who write music and produce music, and so I have a feeling that they get a kick out of this.
Okay, great. Any questions before we move on from Brian Z? So, all right, awesome. All right, we just have a couple more that we're going to be sharing. All right. So it may be a little hard for people to read right here. So go ahead and tell us a little bit about your cover, what your topic is.
Well, my zine, I did it about like introverts basically, and how even though we're like the quiet type, we don't really put ourselves out there as much, but we still like to have a social life. We still like to have friends and talk to people and interact just in a different way than like extroverts would.
Absolutely. So what rhetorical strategy do you think you use before we kind of get into your pages?
I think mostly pathos. Because just emotional.
So we'll be able to see. Let's check out your first couple of pages right here. So anything that you want to say about any of these pages I scroll through?
Well, for those two, what I'm trying to say for that one is that like introverts, we like to spend time alone by ourselves. It's how we like recharge and get our energy. But that doesn't mean that we like to spend all of our time alone, that we don't want to have friends, that we don't want to hang out with people. Just that, just because we like to be alone doesn't mean that's all we like to do. For this, I was trying to say that like we're the quiet ones. We're the ones who don't really speak out a lot, but that doesn't mean that we don't have things to talk about, that we wouldn't like to talk if we're given like the chance to talk. Like we probably won't be the ones to like initiate the conversation, but if you get us started, then we can talk about things too. We have lots of things to say.
Right. Yeah. If you're an introvert, or you consider yourself an introvert in the room, right? This kind of looks like a classroom setting is what I see too. So I don't know, Ben or anybody can chime in on this. Do you feel ignored by teachers sometimes because of this, or is it okay that teachers don't pay attention to what you're doing or what your opinions are? I'm just interested from your classroom experience what it's like for you to be an introvert.
Well, I think that I think that introverts, we might not always really like to be called on as much as other people. But I do think that, I mean, it kind of depends on the person. Like every person's different. So there are introverts who are okay with like being called on, and there are introverts who would much rather not talk at all during class, who would much rather not speak up like that. So it kind of depends.
Bravo, absolutely. I understand. All right, just a couple more pages.
This one, it's about like if we're by ourselves and there's like a group of people somewhere and we want to hang out or something, then it's harder for us to go and initiate contact with people. It's harder for us to go out and be social because it's not how our brain works. We're not wired to be super social people. But that doesn't mean that we don't want to be included, that we don't want to have friends, that we don't want to hang out with people and have a good time and stuff like that, because we still do want friends and social interaction, just not in the same way that like extroverts might.
Yeah, maybe just for somebody else to take notice and pull you in. You know, especially if it's fun. All right, and this is your back page.
Yeah, this one I was just trying to say that, I mean, we're the shy, we're the quiet people. We might be weird or socially awkward or like just the people you don't think about very much because we're always kind of in the background, but we're here too, and we want to be included in stuff and have friends.
So before I ask you about audience real quick, I have to ask, I love the spider and the cover and on the back cover. Any reason why you chose a spider?
I don't know. I mean, it just kind of seemed right, like a spider, like it fit. I guess I was kind of thinking along the lines of, quiet, and then my mind went to like cobwebs and then spider. So.
So who would you want to hand this to, or who have you handed this to?
I think my audience would really be anyone who doesn't know much about introverts or why we act the way we act, like anybody who might want to know, or maybe anybody who has like an introvert friend but doesn't really know how to like bring them out of their shell or like that.
Great understanding. Great. Well, any questions before we move on? Yeah.
I'm like a huge extrovert, if you can tell. I like to talk. But I didn't really know that like people who are like introverts are like so shy. Like I understand people are shy and stuff, but like I didn't know that y'all actually like thought that way and stuff. Like I felt like, to me at first I used to feel like y'all thought y'all were better than anyone else. So it's good that you actually like told me like about this.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Mind blown.
Yeah, mind blown. I didn't know.
Thank you for sharing. It's great.
Yeah.
This is just like, did you draw all that?
Yeah.
That was so good.
That was
Oh my
amazing.
god,
That was
good.
good.
The calligraphy is beautiful. I like the school one.
I like
There's
little,
something
like,
there.
them all,
Yeah, the
like,
little
that.
lines make it look like their
Yeah.
voices. And I
Wait,
was
was
just
she
like,
actually perfect?
I could barely draw 6%.
That one
my favorite
This
too.
one, like, what's she doing with her hands? Like, not like.
Yeah, I know.
And she's got her hands on like other people's
Oh,
shoulders.
okay.
Oh.
So yeah, no, I agree. Well, let's give it up for this. This is our I agree. This is a great demonstration.
Stop.
All right, we got one last scene to explore. Don't make it too short. This is super interesting.
That was very unnecessary.
All right, so our audience members, I'm sure, can probably read this, but in your own words, what's kind of your topic of your argument going for?
Well, I didn't use zine in the first place, and then I was like, it's better than the other place. And so I had a thing about what was it, about parody or paradoxes, and I was like, you know what? Let me do back on my hair today. I have something to do here. Initially, I changed paradoxes, and went back to natural hair. It was like 12 o'clock in the morning. I wanted to do this. I did this in like an hour.
And it's just like, I've been natural for like 3 years. My mom forced me to. She's like, you'll like it better when you're older or whatever. And she was right.
So what do you mean by being natural?
Like, I don't get perms anymore. My hair's not straight. Like, usually it's curly, but I used to get perms like all the time because my hair's straight. Because it was easier. And now, like, my hair's always curly.
Yeah. So just based on the peers that you have in your room, you have several of us that have no idea what it's like to have to deal with natural hair or to choose to do natural hair or not. Right. So that's part of what I think is so fascinating.
So much work.
Well, you got 7
Yeah.
struggles on here, so let's check
7
them out.
struggles. Okay, first one. Edges. So the whole thing is that like you want your edges to be like slick. You don't want them to look fuzzy. Like mine look fuzzy like it's school because the school is so hot. But other thing is like sometimes you don't have edges and that's what like people realize. And like what they do that like for real. Like, you put gel in there, you wake up and your skirt might be off, and you're just like, oh great, it's gone. It's a hot mess. You have to go to school like that. And then with shrinkage, people always like, oh, your hair's so short. Did you get it cut or whatever? No, I didn't get it cut. It just does that. Right. Like, my hair would like go from like above my ears to like my shoulder.
So you gotta explain the toothbrush thing. I have no idea what that is.
Okay. So there are brushes you can use. Those brushes hurt a lot. They're like really hard bristle brushes. And I don't know who started toothbrush thing, but I have one. Like it's not a used toothbrush. It's a brand new toothbrush, and then use it to do like the small hairs.
Gotcha. Anybody learn something new? Like,
I did the toothbrush thing too. I hate using a hard brush. It hurts. I start crying.
All right, let's learn a little bit more.
Okay, there's pedicures. I don't know why people feel the need to just touch my hair. I was walking down the stairs. This girl was like, "Oh my God, is that her real hair?" And she just put her hands in my hair like
Like she knew me.
And like they're like, "Can I touch your hair?" And they're always touching it. And it's like, why would you ask? We're just gonna do it anyway.
So how many of you have seen Zootopia? You went to go see that, right?
I love
That is hands down one of my favorite scenes in the whole thing because it goes against all it. It demonstrates that whole issue of like you don't just go up to people and start touching their head because you want to, right? So anyway, if you haven't seen Zootopia, I'll give a strong recommendation.
How was that?
All right, sorry. So yeah, Petters, what about products?
Okay.
What should we know?
Oh my God, I have to do so much stuff because my hair, like, washing it didn't look too hot when I wash it. Because it's kind of like, it gets tangled really easily, so you need like gel to make sure your curls are defined. You need like edge control to make your edges, make sure your edges aren't with a hot mess, and you conditioner because my hair would dry out so fast. Like, if I blow dry it, it looks like a bush. Like shampoo, I have so much conditioner, but I have like one single bottle of shampoo. Because I don't wash my hair that much, so my hair doesn't get dirty. It's like kind of like absorbs everything I put in there instead of like kind of like layering on.
How long does it take you to get ready?
I mean, I usually get ready at nighttime and I like take everything down in the morning. Like I did bantu knots in my hair yesterday and that took like a good 2 hours. Like do like blow dry, like make everything in sections and do all the parting and everything. And then like I woke up in the morning, took it down and left.
Right? Anybody in the room, can you imagine 2 hours? Some of you probably can. Some of you might be able to do 2 hours working on your hair.
Yeah.
Mr. Jones knows what that feels like.
All right.
Okay, sore arms. So occasionally I'll do a twist out and my arms burn so bad. People are like, oh my God, you have muscles. How can I do my hair so much? And I'm like twisting real quick at night and like your arms are burning, so you against the wall and you're just like, let's finish up real quick. And then like you can't stop halfway or she'll have a hot mess in the morning, so it's like you gotta tough it out. And then with straightening, like I'll go to the salon and get my hair straightened and I'll leave the salon and look a hot mess. And it's not fun at all. And then you have to straighten your hair in the morning. And you come to school. I don't know why. School's so hot. It looks like I have a blowout when I get to school, even though my hair is straightened.
So it's just a humidity thing.
Yeah.
That's why.
And then drying. So my hair, like I have to plan it out because we have to go to school and get here like 6:30 for my bus at least. I have to do my hair like 5 o'clock in the afternoon, like once a week. But like it takes forever to dry. If it's not dry in the morning, I'm screwed. for real. Like, if it's wet, it doesn't work out. This right here, it was wet this morning. And I had to like throw it up in the cup real quick, but ooh, that's it. You can't go anywhere when it's wet either.
Yeah.
The struggle is the proverbial real, right?
Right.
The struggle is real.
There's a poster.
There is. I had to put it on a separate.
I'm not really an artist, so I just do that real quick and put it back.
Who thinks she did a pretty good job? Considering she's not an artist.
I think so.
She's winking.
So who would you say your audience for this is? Who have you handed it out to, or who you intend to hand it out to?
I hand it out to my friends, kind of like to understand because they do like the same things I do with my hair, and then I hand it out to other people who would understand that they kind of like need to know. If people like touch my hair, I hand it out to them.
Right, how did they react to it?
They're like, oh, it's so nice. I don't think they like opened it.
They hadn't looked at it yet.
Yeah.
Right? Yes, you don't. Right. What do you hope the impact is?
I hope they're like, oh my gosh.
That's right. All right. Yeah. So part of it, you mentioned this when you first started, right? And we'll get to some questions, right? But you absolutely made it clear you didn't want to do zine, you didn't care, you threw this together in like an hour or whatever late at night, which I appreciate. Because I mean, you know, I have no shame in telling you this. I've told you this before. This is one of my favorites that's been made this entire time. So now that you actually made it and it's finished, and you've heard my comments about it, and other friends and stuff comments about it. Are you glad you did it?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I'm excited for you because I thought this turned out really well. Right. All right. Yes. Questions.
I can literally relate to everything that goes on in that story. I hate going. The only difference is I don't like going natural during the school year. It's too much to handle. So bless your heart for doing it. I do it over the summer and stuff. But yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I relate a lot with the shrinkage part and the natural part because I'm natural now. I have never wore a perm, but next year I'm gonna wear it like naturally curly, like how you do it, and I know it's gonna be a lot of work. But yeah, I relate.
Should do a zine on balding. Anybody else?
Burn your head and leave them off for too long. Sometimes if you use an old perm, your hair falls out. Why? Remember my mom doing I had bald spots. It's great.
So, right, so I want you to do a real quick recap, right? Because just in case it was harder to see everything. This was our Vampire Diaries that kind of chronicled an important relationship. And then just a reminder that at the end here, that you want to check out the finds that she created. You can scan that QR code. And then kind of order there, right? And then this one was the one that focused on kind of rape culture issues that's written in our culture, how we handle it, how we deal with it, think about it. All quotes, mainly they kind of come out of verses that Nicole created. We had issues in the hallway. Fun. That list.
He took away all my stories. Still mad.
We talked about the evolution of rap over time.
Wait, are you?
Learn a lot more about
Yeah, I like that one.
She made it very clear that I was not allowed to see it till it was
Yeah.
And then one last time here with the 7 natural hair
Struggles with the 1G. Micah struggles with 1G.
And then we had started with exploring a car that we don't see in the United States very often. Learned a lot more about the car itself, its connection to favorite shows.
Same.
All right, so I'll come around so I can make my face appear real quick as we kind of wrap this up.
Oh my God.
So we appreciate you joining us. If you were able to stick with us for a little bit of the time, sorry if I realized that some of the screencasting was off during part of the discussion, but hopefully you got a chance to go back and look at some of it. Some of these we'll share too, but thank you for joining us and spending time with us. We hope that you enjoyed it. And again, email any questions that you have and I'll send them on to the students and we'll get you guys some responses, right? Did you guys have a good time?
Yeah.
All right, good job, everybody.
I'm the extrovert, by the way. He's getting down. I'd be on Snap.
Oh my God.